I guess, why am I running is probably the question that I was asking myself when I looked in the mirror. And I think probably last November's election was the first wake-up call. I realized, I think like many of us did when that happened, is that democracy is not a spectator sport, it's a participatory activity. And I think for many, many years, we've all taken that sort of our democracy for granted. And we can see how quickly it can go south. So be the change you want to see. So I never thought I would be getting into politics, but I want to affect change. And where does it start? It starts in your own backyard. I've been involved in West Cornwall Township my whole life. If any of you live in Mount Gretna or have been to Mount Gretna, the big borough of Stoberdale, that's on my family tree. My great uncles and my grandfather kind of settled up there. My great uncle Jake helped donate the first Jeep to the fire company up there. So I've been going there my whole life. Barbara and I had a house in the camp meeting for a while, and then we bought Barefoot Organics in we bought the farm in 2007, started Barefoot Organics in 2008, and we've been USDA certified organic since then. So I feel connected to the place, I feel connected to the land, and I think sort of a saying by the naturalist John Muir, I'm going to read it here: when one tugs at a single strand in nature, he finds it attached to the rest of the world. And so I'm emotional about what happens and what's happening in our township, so I want to get up and affect some change. And so what are my campaign platforms? So I guess there's three of them. First one, and the main one, is defending transparency in government. Historically in West Cornwall Township, it's been opaque at best. And I believe that government's responsibility is to be open to the citizens so that they can hold their politicians accountable. And I believe this, not allowing people to come to a township meeting, and because you don't live in the township, you can't say anything. I believe that's ridiculous. If someone comes with an idea or a comment, as Dan said, what happens in one township, because we're all connected, we are an ecosystem. And what happens in one township affects the others. So if someone wants to come, and Mike Schroeder wants to come and make a comment, I don't want him to have to put tape on his mouth. I want him to be able to come and say his words, right? And perhaps we're going to glean something from what he has to say. So if I'm elected, transparency in government, I'm going to do whatever I can. We're going to get a website going. I know that Dave Lloyd has already made some inroads on that. And we're going to open it up so that everybody knows what's going on in West Cornwall Township, because it hasn't been good in the past. The second piece and the third actually also sort of are attached to transparency in government, because if government's not transparent, then some of the other things that trouble me happen before our very eyes. So that's preserve the land that's needed for agriculture and rural industries, which is basically a revisit of the Cornwall-Lebanon comprehensive plan. Our township refused that, rejected it. I think that's ridiculous. I think if I'm elected, we will revisit that. I believe we should be part of that comprehensive plan, because what happens in one township, as I said before, affects us all. And do we need more gratuitous development? Do we need another subdivision that takes away farmland? Anybody who knows me knows, probably have heard me say this before, that we are in for a day of reckoning down the road because of what we're doing to our farmland. Right now, 50% of our produce comes from California, and many people in California think California is out of the national food game in about 15 years because of their trouble with water. 8 million acres of the San Joaquin Valley is irrigated land, and they're running out of water. And the Ogallala Aquifer is running out of water. So when the fields of Pennsylvania are under another subdivision or another strip mall, and California's out of the game, where do we as a country and how do we feed ourselves? So these are existential threats to me. And when you talk to people in agriculture, they get it. And so we need to really take a close look at what we're doing to the finest non-irrigated farmland in the world, which is what brought the Germans here in the first place. And when I see the pipelines going through and I see another strip mall, it breaks my heart. And so we have to do something that's going to kind of keep that a little more managed. The third piece is to protect the township's land patterns and our natural resources. Again, against gratuitous land development. What they're doing up in Mount Gretna, anyone who lives in Mount Gretna or has visited Mount Gretna, you all know Mount Gretna. And it strikes me as just, I can't believe that this place that so many people want to go to for the very essence of what Mount Gretna is, and then they want to go in and they want to tear down and rip out some of the forests and gratuitous development. And it's not for the benefit of all of us, it's for the benefit of a few. And this is our land, this is our environment, this is our ecosystem, and I don't think our township supervisors have thought for us. And I'm going to fight for us. And so that's why I'm running. And again, I never thought I'd be involved in politics, but you got to be the change you want to see, and so that's what I'm going to do. And with your support, I know most of you here don't live in West Cornwall Township, but you certainly have friends, and get the word out. And really, we need its turnout. If we get every Democrat that lives in West Cornwall Township, 400 plus, we could probably win, and that would be a landslide. We're also going to need some Republicans. And I'm okay with that because I think at this level of government, what I feel about the Second Amendment or pro-choice or gay marriage doesn't matter. It's what I feel about our township. And so that whole RD thing, we have to start working together again. And that's how the Founding Fathers, that's what they wanted to do, right? They wanted, you gotta make it difficult to get stuff done, but you gotta be able to work together. And you gotta give the Republicans credit for what they've done over the past 30 years. They own the state houses, they own local government, but this is where it starts. West Cornwall Township, Cornwall, South Londonderry Township. That's where we can begin to affect change and not look at the people across the aisle as the enemy, but as someone that we can work with. So that's what I'm all about, and I hope you'll support me, and thank you again for coming out tonight. Tell your friends, elect Phil Stober for West Cornwall Township, frequent Barefoot Organics, and come to the Timeless Cafe for dinner. Thank you.